the best.
Canelo!
It's because I fought the best.
Step into the ring of intrigue and mystery, and let me introduce you to the man of the hour, Santos Saul Canelo Alvarez Barragan. This Mexican marvel has scaled the dizzying heights of professional boxing, conquering 4 weight divisions from light middleweight to light heavyweight, and cementing his place in the pantheon of pugilistic legends. Canelo's name is synonymous with finesse and flair in the ring, thanks to his skillful counterpunches that leave opponents reeling. He deftly exploits the slightest openings in their defenses and effortlessly evades their attempts to land blows with his head and body movement. The boxing world has taken note of Canelo's brilliance and lauded him as one of the finest active boxers in the world, regardless of weight class. The Ring and the Boxing Writers Association of America have both ranked him #1 on their pound-for-pound lists, cementing his status as the creme de la creme of the sport. But there's more to Canelo than just his boxing prowess. Who is the man behind the gloves? What secrets does he harbor? What is the motivation that fuels his ambition? These are the tantalizing questions that leave us yearning for answers. And the enigmatic Canelo is not one to reveal his hand easily. So, as we await his rematch fight against the formidable Russian Dmitry Bivol, let's see who the man known as Canelo Alvarez is. Firstly, let us dive into the origin story of the boxing sensation Santos Saul Alvarez Barragan, better known as Canelo Alvarez. This prodigious boxer was born to Santos Alvarez and Ana Marie Barragan in Guadalajara, Mexico. But his family's roots stretch back to Los Reyes, Michoacán, before settling in their current abode, Juanacatlan, Jalisco. As the youngest of 8 siblings, 7 brothers and 1 sister, Canelo was born into a household that reeked of athleticism. From a tender age, the Alvarez boys were drawn to sports, with the eldest brother Rigoberto taking up boxing and inspiring his younger siblings to follow suit. And so the young Canelo found his calling in the squared circle, lacing up his gloves for the first time at a mere 13 years of age. He quickly took to the sport, and as an amateur, he competed in numerous boxing matches, earning the title of Junior Mexican National Champion not once, but twice. But the fiery Canelo was just getting started. At the ripe young age of 14, he won his first gold medal, foreshadowing the glories that were to come, and indeed by the time he turned 20, he was already a runner-up at the WBC World Championship, a remarkable feat for someone so young. Canelo Alvarez, born July 18, 1990, is a fiery Cancerian, driven by a heady mix of stubbornness, passion, and boundless energy. This boxing phenom fights in no less than 5 weight classes, from welterweight to light heavyweight, making his weight a variable quantity. Nonetheless, his recorded weight as of now is a brawny 79 kilograms, or 167 pounds. And though welterweight fighters are often compact, Canelo's height is 5 feet and 9 inches, or 1.75 meters. His physique is quite impressive, with measurements of 41 inches in the chest, 33 inches in the waist, and 15 inches in the biceps. But let's not forget that Canelo's ripped body is the result of years of intense training. This boxing juggernaut has been at it for 18 years, and he's still as fit as a fiddle. When it comes to looks, Canelo's got it all. Deep brown eyes that burn with passion, and reddish-brown hair that adds to his fiery persona. And did you know that in Spanish, Canelo means cinnamon, often used as a nickname for people with red hair? Well, now you do. Once Canelo Alvarez had that gold medal around his neck, he knew it was time to step up his game and start playing with the big boys. At just 15 years old, he made his professional debut because he was too talented to stick around in the amateur circuit any longer. And boy, did he make an impact. Despite facing opponents who were often twice his age, the young fighter fearlessly knocked them out left and right, blazing through his first 13 matches in just 19 months. In 2008, he won the WBA Fedicentro welterweight title by knocking out 2 of his rivals. And he wasn't done yet. In 2009, Canelo continued his winning spree and defeated Antonio Fitch to win the NABF and the WBO Latino welterweight titles. But no one can win them all, and Canelo suffered a tough loss against Floyd Mayweather Jr. later that year in what was his first professional defeat. Yet the flame of Canelo's fighting spirit was far from extinguished. He kept on winning battles, one after another. In 2014, he triumphed after Alfredo Angulo. In 2016, he successfully defended his title against Amir Khan. And in 2018, he faced off against Gennady Golovkin in a rematch and emerged victorious with a majority decision. But the road to glory is never an easy one. Canelo faced a 6-month suspension when he tested positive for an illegal substance ahead of his first scheduled fight against Golovkin in 2018. Undaunted, he came back to the ring in 2019 and claimed the IBF middleweight title while retaining the WBA Super, the WBC, the Ring, and the lineal middleweight titles in a fight against Daniel Jacobs. All in all, Canelo's record is truly impressive, with 58 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws under his belt, including 39 knockouts. There's no denying that this Mexican boxer is a true force to be reckoned with and a breathing legend. Canelo has been putting his boxing gloves to good use since 2005. With a decade and a half of experience in the ring, Alvarez has become a true icon of the sport, garnering accolades and recognition from fans all around the world. But the fortune and fame that he has amassed in his career are nothing to scoff at either. In fact, the man has raked in more cash than you can shake a stick at, making him one of the wealthiest athletes of the year 2022. Right up there with some of soccer's biggest stars like Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, and Neymar. As of 2023, Alvarez's estimated net worth sits pretty at a whopping $180 million, as reported by Forbes. The lion's share of his vast fortune comes from the enormous cash payouts he's received for winning world-class championships and pummeling his opponents into submission. Let's take a look at Canelo's best fights. Canelo vs. Austin Trout. Canelo Alvarez was cruising through his first 42 fights, knocking out aging opponents and dominating mid-tier champions like a hot knife through butter. But then came the ultimate test of his skills, Austin Trout. The duo squared off to unify the WBA and WBC shares of the 154-pound division, and what a showdown it was. The adrenaline-charged match was broadcasted by Showtime from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. Trout had already defeated Alvarez's older brother, Rigoberto, to clinch the title 2 years prior, and the fiery youngster had his sights set on taking revenge for his kin. In a spirited 12-round battle, the fighters were so evenly matched that the referee had to separate them just once. Alvarez may have been less busy with his punches, but the ones he threw were like thunderbolts, connecting with brutal force. He sent Trout crashing to the canvas in the 7th round, and even though Trout put up a fierce fight, Alvarez ultimately emerged victorious. The judges scored the fight 10, 7, and 8 rounds in favor of Alvarez. Trout was a gracious loser, accepting the defeat like a true gentleman. "I'll take the loss like a man," he said. "The better man won tonight. He was better than me. I have no excuses." Canelo vs. Sergey Kovalev. A daring move just half a year after successfully defending his middleweight belt against Daniel Jacobs, Canelo Alvarez packed on an additional 15 pounds to go toe-to-toe with the formidable Sergey Kovalev for the coveted WBO light heavyweight championship. Kovalev had racked up an impressive 16 title fights in the division, 10 of which he'd ended by knockout, but he had also suffered 3 title fight losses in his previous 7 bouts. The matchup at the MGM Grand Garden Arena was an interesting clash of styles, with Kovalev working the jab and relying on defense, while Alvarez went for broke with punishing body shots and vicious punches to the head. The scorecards remained close through the final 2 rounds, with the 2 judges giving Alvarez a 2-point lead, while the third saw the fight as a draw. But in true Canelo fashion, he left no doubt about who was the superior fighter. With just over 2 minutes left in the 11th round, Alvarez landed a devastating left hook on Kovalev's head, which wobbled him along the ropes and left him vulnerable to a follow-up right that connected with crushing force to the chin, sending him to the mat in a heap. The referee didn't even bother with a count, and the fight was over. Overall, it was a success, Alvarez declared after the match. "We knew it was coming. Inevitably, it would come. And come it did, with Canelo emerging victorious once again, adding yet another impressive title to his already formidable collection." Canelo vs. Golovkin. Oh, the road to boxing superstardom is paved with grit and determination, and Alvarez had to overcome many a challenge before he could wear his crown as one of the sport's most legendary fighters. But out of all the fights he's won, none was as significant as his showdown with Gennady Golovkin. Nearly a year after the first controversial clash ended in a draw, Alvarez stepped into the ring at T-Mobile Arena with a new game plan and a fierce determination to prove himself. His lightning-fast speed and multifaceted arsenal kept Golovkin guessing, and his body shots effectively neutralized his foe's offense. The fight was a nail-biter, with 2 judges scoring the bout 115 to 113 in Alvarez's favor, while the third had it even at 114 to 114. But ultimately, it was Alvarez who emerged victorious, handing Golovkin his first loss in 40 fights and ending his 8-year reign as a middleweight champion. "I showed my victory with facts," Alvarez declared after the fight. He was the one who was backing up. "I feel satisfied because I gave a great fight. It was a clear victory." And from there, Alvarez continued his meteoric rise, winning 5 more title belts and triumphing in 6 more fights in the following 3 years. But it all started with his monumental victory over GGG. "I'm a great fighter," Alvarez said, "and I showed it tonight."